Gulfstream Park.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim-flam sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Fridays at Gulfstream. Man, I love a Friday
The
afternoon.
new festive Mike Mayo. I love it, man. Here's
You
to
know
you,
what?
kid.
I
Here's
do
to
have
you.
a new middle name, and the middle name is Mike Amenable Mayo, because I got a text yesterday afternoon
Yeah, this thing is
asking
blossoming.
me if I would be amenable to something, and I just realized that I am now amenable to all sorts of things, whether it be dinners out, nice conversations with newfound friends, Bloody Marys again at Gulfstream, whatever you want to call it.
You're coming
Gulfstream.
back. You're the comeback player
I
of the
am
month.
Mike Amenable Mayo. I'm amenable to almost anything.
No, this
Here
is
we
big.
are.
I mean, a lot of people wanted to know where this was going, the romantic aspect of it. Of course, people wanted to see pictures. I didn't know if you necessarily wanted those published. I mean, it's not like we're Getty Images or anything. And
no,
no, it's good. It's taking the next step, people. All those people that were texting me yesterday going, what's going on with Mayo? Is he in love? What's happening? It's at least gone to the next level. And this isn't that hot 21-year-old from the Best of Delray.
Well, we're co-workers. We're colleagues. Now we keep things strictly professional. She's a great girl, too.
Unless you're Vince McMahon, I mean, that's a whole other story.
Or-
But this is realistic. This thing has a shot. I'm so proud of you, kid.
Well,
You
first
have
of
come
all,
off the mat, and now you're ready to go 12 at De La Hoya.
Don't make me blush, but because this is just, I don't know what it is. It's like
It doesn't matter. Let it roll.
Was,
Let it roll.
was a charity dine-out lunch that turned into, what was, a nice conversation, a good time, a good meal at Andy's Live Fire Grill. And now, texts were exchanged yesterday.
I saw the context of it, and it was very favorable.
What I liked,
You actually made a good impression on a woman of means.
shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. But no, I mean, and gosh, I don't want to. This is going to be the last time I talk about it for a long time.
No, it isn't.
Sure.
You think we're going to let this go? This
I'm
is every
putting it in
show
the
from now
vault.
on. Yeah, Mayo's in
No,
love.
because I think discretion is the better part of valor, whatever that means. But
You have to
I-
respect a woman's privacy. The fact that
Yeah,
she's
and-
interested in you is a little suspect. But
what I appreciated is like this. Okay, here's. I appreciate somebody who is assertive and. I was thinking, okay, at some point yesterday I was going to text her or maybe even call her. I don't know what the protocol is anymore. It's been so
When you're in
long.
your
No, but
50s.
women-
Doesn't that go
I
away when
think-
you're in your 50s? That doesn't go away?
yeah, the
You
new
still have the
woke
stupid
women,
names?
they're more aggressive. than
No,
they
she
used
was
to be.
assertive.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would call it. She
That's
texted
good.
me and said how much she enjoyed lunch.
There you
and
go.
I texted back that likewise, I really enjoyed.
Didn't
our
you say the
conversation.
company was better
I said something
than
to
the
the
food?
effect
Come
that,
on, I mean, Mayo.
the pleasure
He
was
didn't go
all mine. I don't
hardcore.
know what I
He was
said.
very...
I was like, I had a great time as well. Because she asked me, would I be amenable to
Amenable
going
is
out
I
for
like
another
that.
deal,
I like that.
going
In
out
other
for
words-
another meal? And I said, yes, I would love to do that. And
All right, so is it
let's-
happening tonight? What's going on?
Diva moves
How
fast. If you
quick?
haven't found out.
I was thinking on the
I
way
don't wanna
down
turn
here
this
about
into the
a
Mike
perfect.
Mayo
I
dating
mean,
show.
People
The name
love
of-
this. What he's
The
talking
name
about.
of the group is Let's Eat, South
Were you
Florida.
talking food?
Not
There's
Let's Date,
Bloody
South
Mary
Florida.
here.
what
Or
came
Let's
off a
Date South
food-related,
Florida.
very
There's a Bloody
food-related
Mary.
event. I mean, you
There you
can't
go.
ignore this.
Now back
here.
to Mayo.
All right. So the answer is she has family coming in next week, so she's going to
The
be
answer
tied
is we might have to move inside. All of a sudden, the weather's changed
We've got some threatening
dramatically
cloud.
here. Yeah.
I was always worried, like we've.
Well,
Yeah, I was
knock
gonna
wood.
say-
This was your choice of locations. We like to play it safe.
Well,
Lubie and I.
if we do start getting pelted,
So
No,
far,
I
we're
think we'll
all
be
right.
all right.
So far, we're
We
okay.
got a mixed bag
Positive
going.
thoughts.
Mixed
We'll be
bag.
all right.
and I was wondering, because we started this thing at the early part of December. We've been going. I know this because I keep a score
Where's
sheet
the time
of the
going?
contest.
Where's the time
This
going?
is week number 21. At
Wow.
Are you
Gulfstream.
kidding me? Wow.
That's
wow.
crazy.
Week
Wow.
21, and we've gone. Oh, I mean, like a perfect 100%
don't.
in terms of weather. So that means it's going to start
Yeah,
pouring.
you like
in
sports.
about,
Don't jinx it.
Nah, be
I just
optimistic,
jinxed it.
Michael.
I
Be
just flashed
optimistic.
the Chiron.
Exactly.
Has made 27 consecutive field goals of
Yeah, exactly.
40 yards or
There you
less.
go. He hasn't missed a
Blinking.
free throw
He
since
boots,
Bill Sharman broke
32
into the
yarder.
league. Yeah, exactly.
How is it that every time they throw that Chiron and stat up, it just whoosh,
Never
the old
ceases to
mush
amaze, yeah.
whammy.
It's like you're calling fights and you say, this guy's never been knocked out. Oh, there he is on the floor. Unbelievable. What a right hand that was. It comes out of nowhere. It always does.
See what happens when I start drinking again on the show.
Yeah,
but,
well,
You've been
it's a lot
way
more
more
fun.
alive this week than you were in previous weeks, though. I mean, it's fun to do the show again. You were really morphing into just a complete
was I a
stiff.
sanctimonious SOB? It was just unbearable.
You're just
insufferable.
beleaguered.
You had a lot of stuff
Beleaguered
going
was a
on
good
that
word.
would have led you to maybe a negative mindset. But you can't let
just
it. You can't let it get to you. You cannot let it get to you. That's the name of the game, and that's where food can come in. Sometimes, I mean, you don't want to necessarily try to compensate for hard times
Yes.
by overeating. But you again last night. I mean, never mind the date. This Runway 84 thing with you is becoming really exceptional.
It's become a habit that is.
And Bonnie and Casal there.
Well, first of all, so let me just back up and say we're here at Gulfstream Park. We're going to be having another contest giveaway soon for 10 Palms. Joe Beja, Director of Food and Beverage, gracious host here.
Is he here today, Joe?
He is here.
Oh,
nice.
He's going to be
Missed Joe
paying
last
us a
week.
visit
Oh,
with
yeah,
some
nice, man.
lunchbox material.
Because I came hungry.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
And we got 2 contest winners coming in this Sunday to claim their prizes, and then next Sunday, of course, is going to be the big lunchbox brunch bash, and everybody's invited at a discount, even if you're not a contest winner, and you can get in on the fun by just enter this week's contest.
This is worth $40, though. I mean,
Yeah,
$40
$40
for this? Are you kidding me?
for a all you can eat brunch
Unbelievable! All
buffet.
you can eat. All.
They open the doors, I think, at 11:30. First race post time these days is about 12:40, 12:50, and they keep the buffet open until for most of the racing day.
Well, my favorite part is they not only have foods from different kinds of meals, so you can literally have your breakfast and your lunch, but Joe Beja himself, the director, the GM of Food and Beverage here, said his mother likes to. And then follow that by come in the morning and be here all day. So he gave his sign off on make a
There's
day
no
of it.
time
You
clock,
go
man.
first,
There's
you go
no
to the
time clock.
omelet station,
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
your little breakfast material, your omelets, then you have a little respite, have your free mimosa that comes included. And again, usually $50. For contest winners, it's $0, including the mimosa tax and tip, but you should add a little extra tip. And for Lunchbox Special next Sunday, the 30th, we're going to all be here.
Yes.
Defo,
My
over
wife will be here as well. You can
Lubie,
meet the famous
lovely
Are you bringing
Shirley.
another
We'll
show?
see
I'm
if
going to
the
bring the
Stang's gonna
Stang.
be
Yeah.
here.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say her name. I'm just going to say it rhymes.
You're
with
not bringing this
No,
Mallory.
get
person.
out of here.
But
Sarnie asked, and
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no, no.
Sarnie, there's no way.
she has her family in town next week, and then she floated a couple of dates of when we could get together for dinner, and she
Okay.
floated April 30th or May 5th. And April 30th, I said, I don't want to invite her out here. That would not be a good first date.
No, it
with
would be
the whole
great
lunchbox.
because
That'd be
she would
wonderful.
see how
We'd have
popular
a
you are,
blast.
and how like people respect your opinion about food and all of this stuff, and everybody's making a big deal. Wow, Mayo's here, and that's always impressive. Second time starter.
I don't know. I would think once we will go on the actual first date, because what happened
You got to
last
take her to
week
That
Seville
really wasn't an
or
official
Tropical
date.
Acres or someplace, even
No, we're
Keel
gonna-
maybe
we're
for a
gonna be
little
going-
casual beach dining,
we're gonna-
and then a little smooch out on the beach pier.
No, will you stop that? Can we stop? Just stop.
It was very.
That was my game at one time.
That
man.
was my game
My
as well,
game
but-
back in the day was La Tub,
Le Tub,
Sunset,
okay.
Intracoastal, a couple
It's a
of
good
rum
game
runners,
too. Yeah,
some of that peel and eat steamed shrimp,
right.
a burger, some fries. You split everything, and then you go in the parking lot, and then there might have been some
Two Georges by boat. Two Georges by boat back in the day. You dock there. You eat like a little shrimp
We
cocktail.
all have our little
Yeah,
tricks of the
you guys
trade.
have different
My
moves.
second date, Defo, and this usually sealed the deal.
I'll give you a
I
good
usually
second
like the
date.
beach.
I'll give you a good second
A
date.
beach picnic
I
is
cooked.
my
That
I
was me.
cooked
Yeah.
for
beach
second.
picnic. I don't like cooking.
I cooked.
Beach picnic.
My specialty was a salmon, and usually with a little dill cream sauce and some asparagus and a nice bottle of wine, red or white. their
Very
choice.
sophisticated. Nice.
See,
And
Yeah,
once
then
you
at your
show that
place-
you could cook and have some skills and domestic
Yeah, you were
skills, they
cooking.
realize that you're not like some needy guy that
No, she didn't know that you were a stone degenerate and that you could care less about the woman, but all you care about is the filly in the second race at Keeneland.
What I wish about is that I could see the comment screen now. Yes, because yesterday you guys had me rolling
That
on
was
the
classic.
floor with some of your
Well,
comments.
we hammered
And
you a little bit. Yeah.
No, Sarni, I am not discussing anybody's cleavage.
I love
not
Sarni. He
not
just
mine.
asks
What
these
happened to
random
Sarni?
questions.
hers.
Mile-mannered Jim
He spends a
Sarni.
lot of time at Twin Peaks, and he admitted to it. He's like,
What-
I
What's
spend too
happening
much
to
time
him
at
in his
Twin
old
Peaks.
age? He's
So-
losing it.
He's
Yeah.
like,
You
how
know,
is the
some
cleavage?
people-
I love the guy, man.
Some people who are foodies, they
Love the
go
guy.
by the Michelin Guide and the Michelin stars.
Yeah.
Sarni is a restaurant guide, and they're
Oh,
compiling the world's great
He
restaurants.
wants
and
pasties and
they
a cheese
award
string.
nipples.
Yeah.
It's like, so Sarni loves to go to the 5 nipple establishments.
We saw him at Porky's when we were doing shows in this Hialeah strip club.
I like an even number
Yeah.
of nipples, but Sarni is kind of a 5 nipple guy. I go top of the scale is 4 nipples.
I love Sarni, but I think he's losing it. I really do. I love the
might
man.
be losing it just
Yeah.
But no, sorry, I'm not divulging any details about cleavage, okay? Because if anybody has cleavage these
Well,
days,
that would
gonna
be
say-
disrespectful,
Yeah,
Michael.
no, and
Mayo.
then-
Come on.
but I did see something float across the New York Times email transom this morning that would appeal to Sarni. I'm surprised he didn't text it to me this morning. The fact that there is now in New York City apparently this private dining club where they get together and it's a bunch of vegans, or they have vegan dinners naked, completely
Nice,
naked.
good
It's
for
like
them.
a nudist,
It's like Naked and
vegan-
Afraid, the dating game. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you could have your Impossible Burgers with
It's like the opposite of a blind date.
I don't know that I need to go to those kind of extremes to get naked. I mean, do I have to have a vegan diet? I'm not sure if that's necessary. I mean, how about just jumping in a pool together and seeing if you can click that way?
There you go.
That'd be good.
especially like with me, the way I eat, like body parts could get burned or harmed.
You're going to make a big reformation here in the next year. I see it coming, Mike Mayo. I
I
really
love
do.
this show, especially when I have half a Bloody Mary.
I like it when you've had several Bloody Marys. My
Post
favorite.
420.
I
Had a
like
good
it.
420
Yesterday
day
was
yesterday,
great.
by the way.
He's like, oh, yeah, I was a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. That makes
Joey
Good
sense.
friend of mine for many years, longtime follower of our shows on the AM radio
There
band.
we go.
Yes.
We've got all kinds of supporters out here at Gulfstream. I love it out here. But let's talk
This
about
was a place of tremendous glory and also disillusion for me over the years. But I mean, I'm coming here 42 years. Can you think
Jesus.
about that for a
Good for
second?
you.
I've lived
And
here.
I've had some of my biggest scores of my lifetime here. I've made fools of myself. I mean, a fool of myself here so many times. Done a lot of shows out here, like radio, TV.
Remember
It's a
the
great
old
spot,
days, the
yeah.
old grandstand, the old bar in the press box that would open up after the last race.
I was hosting a show. I think it was a Fountain of Youth for Sunshine Network at the time, now like Valley Sports Sun. All right. And Angel Medina goes by. Remember the trainer, Angel Medina?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Angel, as Todd Trump used to call him, Funky Cold Medina. So Medina is trying to get my attention, but you know how it is. I know you've experienced a little bit of this where you're on the air doing a show and the guy's trying to talk to you and you
Right.
can't talk to the guy.
No, because nobody can hear him.
My wife does this all every morning. She comes down. She's like
She
in the
starts
So
background.
who are
I'm
you
like,
talking to? Who do you
no,
think?
the name of the game is to try and look at the camera as
Who
much
do
as
you
you
think
can,
I'm
right?
talking to?
Well, sometimes.
Anyway,
like
so
that,
Medina comes
old-
by and he gets my attention finally during a commercial break, and he circles a horse with like enthusiasm, and the horse is 50 to 1.
Nice. That's your
And
dream.
I've told this story where I had to really become innovative because I didn't have time to get to the window. So I told the producer, this is live TV. I told the producer, I said, look, I'm going to see what it's like to be a bettor here. And I'm going to take a wireless mic up to the window and make a bet. So the guy's a great idea, Defo. You really bring the feeling of this to the people, right?
Bring the track to the
So I bet Medina's horse. Sure enough, he won it and paid like $106.
Jesus.
And, I'm sitting there on his head like going nuts while everybody else is like, can you believe this long shot? Unbelievable. How did Angel Medina do it? There's going to be an investigation into this race. But that's Gulfstream, man. And a lot of good stuff is happening.
By the way, did you get that YouTube video I sent the other day that was forwarded to me by an old degenerate friend from Brooklyn? Jack Klugman and Jacqueline Klugman before one of the stakes races at
I may have
Gulfstream?
been there. Oh, at Gulfstream.
No, I'm sorry, at the spa.
At Hollywood Park.
At Saratoga.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Klugman won a big
I was there when Jacqueline
race.
Klugman won her
But
first race.
It was a race that was broadcast on CBS nationally.
Yeah.
It must have been Travers Day and
Yeah.
like a setup race, but they had Jimmy the Greek was interviewing Jack Klugman before the race, and Jack Klugman was out of his mind with anticipation.
Jack was cool, yeah.
And I just loved watching that clip because it was that old school, old style feeling. And Jimmy the Greek is saying, you don't got nothing to worry about. Your horse is going to run away with it. And Klugman's like, what are you saying? This other horse, Cordero's on him, and he's going to be good. And he goes, if he loses, he goes, I'm going to put you on Quincy, and I'm going to do the autopsy myself personally.
I was at Hollywood Park the day that Jacqueline Klugman debuted as a 2-year-old filly. And Jack Klugman, of course, was on hand. And my friend was working for this handicapping service that was burying people alive. I mean, it was literally like the worst information you could ever get.
Undertaker's
it was called Turfcraft or something like that. Anyway, and they were giving pictures. Surprisingly, a lot of celebrities were betting their brains out on horses and getting their information from this horrible source, including Milton Berle and Jack Klugman.
Oh, wow.
But Klugman, that horse looked magnificent. Went off 4-5, won for fun that day at Hollywood Park, and then went on to a very distinguished racing career.
Yeah, that was good. Well, those are the good old days, but we've got better days ahead. And here at Gulfstream, especially on Sundays when we got the contest going, should I give the first clue, or should I get into the whole Runway 84 extravaganza?
Give the first clue here, and then we'll come back with a little Runway 84.
Because Runway 84,
you're there every night now.
No,
it's like a nightly
my
speakeasy.
third visit.
Is it Studio 54 or Runway 84?
For Mayo, it is.
It's Mayo, man. It's Studio 54.
Fantastic. I can't rave about it enough. But
you're
I'll rave
picking
about
up chicks
it
at the bar. You're getting freebies. You're taking friends out.
I sent you the receipt. I want to clear the air.
I saw the receipt. It was very long. It was a very long,
receipt. This was for Joe C. And
what was the final tab? I didn't pick it up.
With drinks, tax, tip, we're talking over 5 sticks.
But,
wow. Hey, that's not too
pretty
bad.
Soon,
but the wine was like $175.
I'm going to need another natural disaster soon because
you're cashing in on this flood now. I mean, come on, you'll never fix anything in the house. Let's be honest. Who couldn't live with a little warped flooring in the basement when they're giving you $97,000?
I need a new office, but nobody said the office furniture has to be high quality.
Yeah. Here we go with the balsa wood.
All right, here we go. It is time. You people have impressed me so much because you got it right from the beginning. People saying, "Oh, it's too complicated."
It's not people.
Dumbest contest I've ever seen.
I thought it was the stupidest thing
in terms of concept.
Joseph here, who I love.
I don't want to insult
Joseph.
Vice President
of Communications, PR here at Gulfstream, and also all the what do they call them? It's the Magna or whatever tracks that Pimlico. He's
Magna, Magna Entertainment.
They have Santa Anita, they have Gulfstream, and they have Pimlico, where they
have Laurel too. I think they have Laurel.
After the Derby, they have the second leg of the Triple Crown, and Dave is intimately involved. He spends weeks at a time.
Can we do a show from the Preakness?
We're going to try to work that out.
You know what?
See what we can do. But
Food
Dave,
in Baltimore, Blue Crabs.
We're talking playoffs and Panthers this week, and you were mentioning, did I ever cover hockey? The answer is yes. Not only did I cover hockey, I covered the Panthers' inaugural season with Dave Joseph. We were co-beat writers.
Joseph was a hockey writer. Wow.
Because, well,
that
Fred
makes sense.
Turner, God rest his soul, was the sports editor. Dave Joseph was from Boston. I grew up in New York and went to school in Boston. And Fred said, I got to find some people on the staff that knows,
you'll know hockey. Hockey's a big deal.
From a blue line. Joseph Mayo.
That's how he talked, really? Yeah.
He,
great.
He looked like Lech Walesa.
Real old school, yeah.
And he talked with a gravelly voice because he smoked about 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
I sent you 2 clowns to France to cover the Olympics.
Dorman, Rosafort, neither you nor Dorman captured the essence of what it was like when Mize shipped in. Fred was great, old school,
Finsterwald. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he said, I need some good writers and people that know hockey. Joseph Mayo. You divide up the schedule. I don't care who goes to Winnipeg or who goes to Boston.
Right.
But the two of you, you're going to cover the Panthers, and you'll both be at the home games. So me and Dave Joseph, it's just incredible to me that it's been almost 30 years ago. I think that.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
93, 94.
93, I think it gave it. 93,
so it's
94.
30 years ago that the Panthers, they had their inaugural draft at actually it was in Quebec City. And then I remember going back after the draft.
Did they have a bunch of stiffs, too, except for the Beezer?
No, Beezer was good pick, and a couple other people.
Beezer was on the decline, though. I mean,
I think Mellenby was even there early.
Beezer got them to the Stanley Cup Finals in '96.
Sprudlin
Don't
was my man.
Forget about it. Brian Sprudlin was the best. Mellenby.
Bill Lindsay was great.
I think all those guys are from that original draft.
And rejects, and they all had a chip on their shoulder. But I remember. And you were talking with Craig Minervini about this earlier this week, about how
I think
after he was working for a Palm Beach TV station at the time, and he was sent up there And as we're
we did
Joseph
a draft
and
show.
I.
Yeah.
But we were at the draft, and then after the draft, Bill Torrey and Bobby Clark, who was the GM, and Roger Nielsen,
They had
who
a
was
good
the
brain
coach,
trust there. Yeah.
they were
I mean,
like
they were legends.
invited
They were
us
hockey
back.
legends.
They said, "Guys, come on back to our hotel suite. We're gonna just
Shoot
decompress.
the
We'll
breeze.
have a
Yeah. Nice.
And then we go up there, and remember, I'm coming from at that time being a Dolphins beat writer for 4 years
Yeah.
and dealing with Shula.
Yeah, you don't get
just
any.
yelling at me all the time, or
well, you were the
scowling.
contrarian. You were not the guy that was following
And
into.
now I go into hockey,
Fine.
and everything is sunshine and rainbows, and after the draft, they're saying, "Come on up. We're gonna just chill out a little bit." And me and Joseph and Minervini might have been, a bunch of people that were from the South Florida market that came up. We were all in this hotel suite, and next thing you know, there's a knock at the door, and it's
police.
the beverage service from
Oh.
the hotel, wheeling in
Nice.
about 6 cases of Molson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was
On
in
ice.
Canada.
And we just were shooting the breeze and drinking Molsons all night long.
Yeah. No, they're good people, man. The hockey guys.
And
Yeah.
Bobby Clark, who was with the, obviously
He's a
made his
legend.
bones with the Philadelphia Flyers. Bill Torrey, who I grew up hating because he was the mastermind of the Islanders that won 5 in a row.
Al
And I'm
Arbor,
sitting in a
remember
room
that
with
guy?
these guys.
Yeah.
Roger Nielsen, who is the master of the neutral zone, whatever it
Defoe's
is.
favorite.
Center zone trap. Yeah.
Defense,
So
offense.
and I'm a guy who grew up playing a little bit of roller hockey and ice hockey, and I'm sitting in this
Mayo
room.
on skates.
I'm drinking beer. That was when I was actually like
You're in better shape.
enamored by sports, and I loved being
I
part
don't
of
know
the
what
whole
happened to you,
sports
man.
game.
I
Well, you
don't
do
know
it
what
for
happened.
30,
Yeah.
whatever, 20 years.
30
It wears
you
on
get a
you.
little cynical
You love it.
with
You love it. I mean, it's in your blood. You
No,
just
I
love
do
it.
love watching the playoffs. And what do we got tonight? We got a playoff game
Got
involving
the Bruins
Panthers.
and the Panthers.
That will be at home.
Yeah. No, the Panthers were great back then. It was fantastic. The whole town. I mean, I guess the Heat were also involved in like a Knicks series.
Oh yeah,
And,
those Knicks. That was
Well, the
great.
late
96,
90s,
97.
yeah,
The
story.
Marlins were
Yeah.
restoring still, and the whole city was going nuts. It was fantastic.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
But we still got good days ahead of us.
Sports bars were packed.
what'd
They had
you
to put
call
big
to-
movie screens up just to accommodate the people. It was great.
Would you call tonight's game 3 in the whatever
Pivotal.
the South Florida
No, it's
Live
definitely
Arena?
Pivotal
pivotal.
game three.
It's
Is it a
Florida
pivotal
Live.
game?
Florida
Pivotal.
Live, Florida Live.
No question.
South
It's
Florida.
pivotal.
I
Yeah.
can't believe we've got enough
It's the
viewers and
Florida
revenue to
Live.
sponsor a major sports arena. at
It's
this
the
point.
Florida Live.
How about
Arena.
Vegas though? Going to get a
Florida
baseball team now, and it's only a matter of time
I
before
can't
LeBron
believe
brings
there's
an
a hockey
NBA
team
team.
in Seattle named the Kraken that is actually cracking
They're
the
good.
skulls
They
of
almost
the
went
defending-
2-0.
Yeah,
on the Avalanche.
yeah. So
Hockey hockey playoffs are the best. If you can get into it, you have to kind of matriculate your way into it. And, maybe you hadn't watched a whole lot of hockey during the year, but then you start getting a sense for the different series. They're all their own individual versions of a bloodbath.
I
Yes,
love,
they're bad.
I love
Every
playoff
series is
hockey.
like this. Yeah.
But I'm always amused, and this really points to the
Winnipeg and Vegas.
I hate to get into serious topics, but like the racism in this country and the way things are viewed differently between different if you're black or you're
Background,
white. But like in hockey games, at the end of the game, when one team is getting destroyed and they're
Yeah.
about to go down, everybody drops the gloves and
Start
they just
fighting.
start pounding each other.
Rangers Devils
That's
last
Yeah.
Defoe's favorite.
Yeah.
But in basketball, if the same thing happened, you'd have every Fox News host
Oh, for
decrying
sure.
the end of civilization.
Hoodlums. You
Yeah,
hear
they
words
would
like
call them
that.
thugs,
Thugs.
and but with hockey, it's like, they're just the Canadian farm
you're
boys.
expecting fights.
It's glorified.
Yeah,
The
so
coaches don't even care like that. A guy got like a 5-minute penalty for fighting. They're like, "Hey, way to go, Joe."
well, they all have to deliver a message at the end of a game. It's part
Yes.
of the culture.
Yeah,
But it mystifies me that it's a
It's a
depending
different
on
breed.
who's doing it and what sport, there's a
100%.
completely
You-
different
you probably
reaction
experienced
and
this.
expectation.
A different breed. It's a different breed of athlete. It
Yeah.
really is.
So
Really great. I mean, aerobic conditioning for these hockey
the
players
hockey
is
play.
insane.
I mean, they go in these spurts, but defensemen are playing for almost half the game, and they're skating
incredible.
backwards. And look, I got nothing but respect. I did play a little bit of hockey and street hockey growing up.
I can't even
on the
imagine.
ice.
Yeah.
I played
No, you
street
can't
hockey. I never
imagine
played
that.
it on the
Yeah.
ice.
No,
Also-
not you. I mean in general.
Oh, and I used to
It's
run
a tough
half
sport,
marathons.
yeah.
I can't even imagine that now. I can't.
That
believe it.
one's a tough one to see.
All right,
the
we're
hockey I
shooting
can
the
believe.
breeze here.
All right, what do we got for the clue?
What's the
Time.
first clue?
All right, and last week
People wanna
we
come.
lost a local legend in Norm Kent.
Yes.
We gave a tribute
Said
to
goodbye
him
to him
last week. I was really regretting I couldn't get to the memorial service, which was in the
Sadly
middle of
now.
our broadcast on Monday, and then they were having a celebration at Georgie's Alibi later on the day at Wilton Manors. My car was on the fritz and in the shop. I couldn't even get up there for that. I was dealing with the floods. But we're going to pay tribute to Norm.
You know
today
what's
with
good?
our
You've
restaurant.
shaken it all off.
Yeah, well, that's
one drink and you've shaken it all off.
well.
That's great.
Norm hasn't shaken it off. He's,
Yeah.
he's,
Sadly.
he's
Ah,
ridden
Norm
off
and
into
He
Matt.
went
the-
out fighting though.
A
But, you know-
valiant finish
He
to
went out
a
fighting.
good, rich life.
Yep.
Shortened,
He showed us all. I
unfortunately,
mean,
by
he-
cancer, which
I just
To
love
the
the
end.
fact that he made it to Marlins opening day this year,
Yeah, that's
even though
cool.
he
and
was,
the fact that he went. Think about that.
he
man.
was physically really
You,
on
you
the
have the
ropes.
gout. You don't want to go out of the house. This guy had brain cancer, and he's going to the Marlins opener,
It's
which
fantastic.
nobody else was
No
in
one
I
wants
attendance
to
love
of.
do
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
pictures. Norm
Yeah.
loved baseball more than anything else on this planet, and he loved his. He grew up Brooklyn Dodgers, and he didn't disown them like my parents did and adopt the Mets. He stuck with the Dodgers even though they went to L.A. But
Mets came, much later, though.
yeah,
much
not
later.
that much.
Yeah.
I mean, the
55, I
in,
think it
what,
was, and then
57.
62.
I
Yeah.
think the Dodgers left in 57. The Mets came in
Was it 57?
62 or 64 or something.
62 was the
was
first
like a
year of the
handful
Mets.
of
Yeah,
years.
1962.
But anyway, that was all before I was born. I was alive for the Mets World Series win in 1969, but my parents left me at home with the babysitter, and they got to go to some of those games.
Oh, yeah.
um,
Yeah. I
That
was down a couple
describes
of
some
those
of the
games.
bitterness
Yeah.
in my life. At this
It's great.
point. But all right, let's get to
Clue
the
one.
clues. First of all,
Clue number one.
you know how this works.
Norm Kent Association. All right.
We're gonna have to guess the restaurant from the clues, and this one is actually a living, breathing, still in existence restaurant. And then when you know the restaurant answer, then you have to combine it with picking the winner of this week's contest race, which is the 8th race, featured race at Gulfstream. Tomorrow's card on the April 22nd card, Earth Day. It's a 8th race, $60,000 handicap. Scheduled for 5 furlongs on the turf. With the weather these days, you never know if it's actually going to go on the turf. But there is a field of 10 scheduled to run. So a number from 1 through 10. There's no also eligibles. Just pick a number from 1 through 10 or look it up in the names, and I'll get into that in a minute. But 1 through 10, along with the name of this restaurant.
Race
Here's
8.
the first clue with a tribute to Norman Kent.
Come on,
Okay.
people.
This Fort Lauderdale mainstay has been around since 1937. It's known for being open 24 hours a day. It's a Los Olas in Fort Lauderdale,
A classic.
open 24 hours since 1937. I mean, it hasn't been open 24 hours every year during COVID. They
It's
shut
now
down.
open 24 hours.
But it's a great place to sop up a night of partying on the
He always
town
has to-
with an
Even
omelet.
Louis picked up on the Mayo qualifiers a little bit.
He always has to
Yeah, yeah.
like.
Always
Yeah,
has
I
to
know.
throw in a
Do I-
parenthetical,
I
man, like
think-
I'm sorry.
somehow to make it a
I learned
run-on
that from
sentence.
you.
Yes,
you know,
but he
like,
didn't do it in the middle
chores.
of a this.
All right.
You're in the middle of a contest.
Let me finish.
I'm
the
like, where are we
clue.
All right,
going?
go
It's
ahead.
a great place to sop
Yes.
up a night of partying and maybe some excess alcohol with an omelet, some grits, and toast. Again, Los Olas mainstay.
Mm.
Been there since 1937. Open 24/7. And a good place for the party crowd after the bar is shut down. So that's the first clue.
All right, man.
Okay.
That's good.
Should I give clue number 2 now, too?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead. I
let's
don't
do
know where
1
we're
and
at
2
the show
now, and
here.
then
I
you can
mean,
do 3
Where are
with
we?
I know
Joe.
I
I've
need
lost
another
track.
drink.
It's about
That's for
12:30.
sure,
Oh, we're
yeah.
only at the halfway
You can do the
mark.
other
Great.
Yeah,
clue
but we
with
have
Joe.
bets
I know
to
Joe
make.
loves
We
it.
got
Well,
bets to
I'm
make.
going to give
I can
clue
break
number
right
2
before Joe.
now because I got to tie in Norm.
Yes.
The late, great Norm Kent used to host a morning radio show here
Okay.
at this restaurant when he was on in his WFTL days. He almost overlapped with his client, Neil Rogers, and Neil would always say, "Where's Norma? Is he out doing his own show? He's not negotiating on my behalf."
Neil, 10 years already, man.
Yeah,
that's
This guy.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy. But
Yeah.
Norm used to host his morning show on WFTL here from this restaurant, and he would feature local politicians talking about the news of the day. And the restaurant also had a steady, like every day for breakfast during the week, had a cast of characters that would come in for regular breakfast, including Norm and the longtime Broward State Attorney Mike Satz, and also the taxi mogul Jesse Gaddis. They would
Wow.
sit around the table along with the owner of the restaurant, Butch Samp, and they would shoot the breeze, have breakfast, and then Norm would do his show. So this is a little inside baseball for the people of Fort Lauderdale. I remember I went in there a few times.
Yeah, most people would know this joint. Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so.
Classic.
And you
All
got to
right.
remember this with race 8 tomorrow from here. At
Race
Gulfstream
8 from
Oh,
here.
and what do? You send in the name of the restaurant, your pick in the horse race between 1 and 10, number between 1 and 10. You send it to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com. By what time, gentlemen?
12 p.m. sharp.
12 p.m. sharp tomorrow, Earth Day, April 22nd. And I got one from a usual contestant that came in at 2:30 last week. I was like, I'm sorry.
You
Good
give
thing-
him. You give him the.
Well, because the
size.
race
Yeah,
may have
yeah.
happened already, too.
Cut him off at
It didn't.
10,000.
Tomorrow's
10,000.
post time is about 4:18
He just doesn't.
p.m.
It's not. It's
but
fine.
like noon, because I got a life and I want to put them all in the bin and then maybe we'll
Well,
tabulate
just to
them.
me, if you start letting this person, then it just goes later. You
The
just
shot clock goes
You know
off. It
me,
expires.
I'm
The
tiring.
shot's no good.
I mean,
Yeah.
usually I am Mike amenable Mayo, but I'm not amenable
it's just
to
not worth
bending the
it.
Hey, when
rules,
it comes
so-
to a hot babe, you're
I've-
very amenable. Yeah.
I've read your site, and people like to complain. We give you no reason to complain, then you hold your complaint. So
Yeah.
12 o'clock tomorrow.
All right,
Put in
more
your
coming up
guess.
from Gulfstream
Oh,
Park.
wait, I
here.
got to do a live spot for
Oh, yeah,
who are we
okay.
going to do? Let's do Delaware. Oh, first of all, I got to say a kind word. We have a new sponsor aboard. that
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
officially
nice,
begin
man.
at the beginning of May, but I do want to welcome aboard the great folks
Ooh.
at Aruba Beach Cafe.
What
in
a time
Lauderdale
we
by
had
the
there.
That
sea.
was
Wow.
so great.
You know what? I can still taste that soup.
I couldn't eat the bread, and I
Yeah.
still was satisfied by looking at the
So we're gonna have
freaking
to
bread.
get back there so you can.
We will have
the
to get back
Bimini
out there.
bread.
Yes,
That
what a
Bimini
great
bread
time.
was
We are
Chris
sensational.
gonna
treated
be-
us right.
So we welcome aboard Chris Nealon, chef
Welcome. We
there,
love you,
great
Ruben.
guy, and Peggy, who runs the show there. Looking forward to spending more time out there, and we do spend a lot of time in Lauderdale by the sea because
Yes.
we'll be having a remote show with our good friends Brad and
Even
Dave at Even
At
Keel
Keel,
Fish
huh?
Shack. And again, this goes to my theory that it's not competition. It's better to get more people going to a particular area because the rising
Skate saving a
tide,
beauty there.
the rising
Alex
tide not only ruins my home office, but the rising tide lifts all boats
Yes.
when it comes to restaurants.
It's a great area. There's a lot of great spots, and we
so
love being
many
out
good
there.
spots.
Good
and
vibe there.
You
Yeah.
could go and basically you do a little pub crawl or a food crawl.
Yep.
You have an appetizer.
All right, you
here,
got
and
Vinny's
go
is
get a
very
main course
popular.
there.
So many places.
So many
there,
great
yeah,
places.
yeah.
We got the Billy Jack Shack is
Billy
good.
Jack Shack down
But
the
again,
street.
there are some that are going to be gambling board gourmet approved, lunchbox approved, and Aruba Beach Cafe now has that distinction. And so welcome aboard to them. And next week, where are we going to be going besides Even Keel Fish Shack? On Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we will be at
Delaware Chicken
Seafood.
Farm and Seafood Market.
Chicken
How are they
Farms.
going to top the first two
They're
sections?
setting
We're
really
going-
high standards.
You know,
I mean, it went
we've
from
been
stone
focusing
crabs to
on
lamb chops. I mean, it
roasted
was
chicken, which I didn't
unbelievable,
know was a
we,
thing.
our first visit, I was able to pull a classic storm move of getting
like a
premium
tray of stone
jumbo
Hey,
crab.
hey, listen,
large
Doug.
stone
We really
crabs.
need to try it. We've never had a stone crab before. Why
That
not?
is
Stone
only,
crabs.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe that we're down to the last basically 8-9 days of stone crab
Yeah.
season. It's going to
And
end
then what happens?
May
man?
1st.
Frozen?
Well, then you
What
got
happens?
there's plenty of other great fresh
Yeah, down
Florida
here
products
with
that you
fish.
can get there. The Key West pink shrimp. They have the clams.
Sure, they
They're
have
gonna
Probably
have
have
mahi-mahi.
hogfish, too. Hogfish.
Hogfish,
Wow.
mahi-mahi.
They're going to have grouper season
nice
is going to be
tuna.
opening again. All kinds of great stuff. And, we focus on the fish there, but for next week, we're going to be getting ready for grill season and talking
Nice.
to some great
Where's
folks
the
from
beef?
Braveheart
Burgers,
Yeah.
hot dogs, and chicken. I like some
Steaks.
chicken steak.
Steaks, the strip sirloins, and the ribeyes, and along with the ground beef for the hamburger. May is National Burger Month,
Nice.
and no better way to kind of preview May and Burger Month by talking to the great folks from Braveheart Beef. And again, we'll be sitting with Jose, and I'm sure they're going to be preparing some of these steaks.
Yeah.
You know what? The
products next
meat
week.
counter looks fantastic in there. They all do. All of the displays are
The
are
way
great.
they have
just
things
really
set
stocked
up,
well.
it makes you want to buy one of everything. At the
I was
store.
thinking, why don't I pick up a couple of steaks?
Always.
Even though I'm not
I-
a big steak eater at this point.
Doesn't matter. The
Yeah.
way
You
they
should get in
present it.
there. I mean, it's a South Florida legend. It's been around since the 50s in its current location since 1962. Doug Carter and crew take great care of you. They're at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the old classic Seminole Casino. It used to be the bingo hall. Delaware has the big chicken on the roof. You can't miss it. They got plenty of parking. They have curbside delivery if you want to go that route. But better yet, I go in the store. First, you go on DelawareChicken.com. You check out the weekly specials and the current offerings. And then you go in the store and you'll be drooling. And you get your grab and go items. You can get the roasted chicken. You can have them steam a lobster or some crab cakes for you and have a dinner waiting for you right when you get home. You can get those great fish dips, the salmon dips,
Yeah,
which
the
makes
dips
her
are
a
great.
great party appetizer. And better yet, then you go in and you get your seafood, your stone crab. You know the drill. Go to Delaware. It's Lunchbox approved. Tell them Mayo, Defo, and Lubie sent you, and we'll see you there next Thursday.
Yes.
Man, there's a romantic element component to it too, because the stone crabs you sent as a peace offering.
Yeah, saved
The
your
ex-wife
rear
now
with the
led
ex.
to you going,
There
to
was no
Runway
romance
84 with
there.
her,
This
and-
is strictly co-parenting,
but
coexistence.
it overcame.
friends.
But you're in a
I
better
don't wanna
place
give
now.
anybody
overwhelming barricade.
You're in
between
a
the two
better
of you.
place.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
amicable.
There
And
you
that's
go,
where you'd
man.
rather
Yeah,
be.
all of a
That's what
sudden
they
it's
call
all
me
good.
too. Besides amenable Mike Mayo,
Amicable Mike Mayo.
Mike Mayo. So,
You should have been a ring announcer. Amical Mike Mayo now has the
now
section of the
weighing
fighters. Yeah.
in the super heavyweight.
All right, we're coming back with more here
weighing
from
in at
Gulfstream Park.
242
You see what's happening here, Mayo?
pounds.
Horses are on the track,
And
so
the
we have
sun
to
is a shining.
get
This
going
is
here.
great.
I
How
see a
great
machine
is
with
this?
my
All right,
name on
let's
it.
take the first break. Let's make it a double, like my Bloody Mary. We'll be back after these words.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
We're back on the Lunchbox, and we're just rolling along on a Friday at Gulfstream. I've got Bloody Mary. We've got other beverages in front of us. I mean, it's the weekend. We're
It's
relaxed.
time to party a little bit. Yeah.
It is, come out to Gulfstream, play hooky if you could cut out of work or school.
All the serious talk we do on a show.
And
I mean, it's
now
time to get away from it a little
We're
bit.
waiting
Yeah.
for Joe Beja to come with this week's Gulfstream Park goodies. But until then, I'm gonna have to give the recap of last night's journey to the runway 84, Anthony's runway 84.
Yeah.
I saw Anthony Bruno. He's looking svelte and good. I saw Mark Falsetto. who is the other new partner in on the venture there, and he is just him and his wife Danielle. They are in there most nights, and they are just again rocking and rolling. It's like New Year's Eve.
They've kind of put a
7
new
nights
sort of cultural spot on the map here. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's patterned out of after some of the great places that I grew up with in Brooklyn, like the Bamontes in Brooklyn and the Gargiulios, where they have this kind of upscale tuxes. The servers and waiters are dressed to the nines. They have a dress code, but it's also a little bit more of like the Copacabana, where they have live entertainment, music, crooners going, starting at 8 o'clock every night. Yeah, it's a little bit boisterous and rambunctious in there, but you've got to come mentally equipped to have a good time, throw caution to the wind. If you're gonna be upset by it's loud, or you have to kind of shout a little bit to have a
and
conversation,
go to the library. Yeah.
not the place for you.
Go to a coffee
But,
shop. Yeah,
so
it's not a
last night
coffee
we were
shop.
having a celebration for our friend of the show, Joe
Casale, happy
Casale,
birthday.
and Bonnie DePacio, who, she's coming up on, she was married a long time to a guy, Richie DePacio, who used to be the public handicapper.
was a
for the
handicapper
I
for
love
the
that
Sentinel,
she.
yeah.
I found that out yesterday. I love that she was married to a longtime handicapper. That just shows why she
Bonnie
fits
Very
right in.
knows
encouraging
the
sign for a
racing
woman,
game,
yeah.
the degenerate game. Joe used to come, in his agent days, he would do a lot of business meetings and dinners at Runway. So I wanted to go with the two of them and celebrate Joe's birthday. Bonnie used to go there every Christmas Eve with her husband. She had
Well, were we ever in consideration for this?
wait, but her son
no?
had
All right.
her wedding rehearsal dinner there at Runway 84, and so she personally knows Anthony Bruno. When Bruno showed up, they were hugging and kissing. So it was very nice.
Yeah.
And what happened? Is there a tornado?
No, no,
wow, there's a
no,
water
no.
spout. There
Oh,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
water spout over there.
Well, that's fine.
It's always good for a
Hopefully it's not
broadcast.
coming
Yeah,
right at us. People
Wow,
are
look
coming
at that
out.
thing.
It
and
is far
gawking at
away. It
It's
is
a
far away. We're fine.
water
It's
spout.
way off by the
We
beach.
might have to take emergency measures. Where is the emergency alert system on your phone?
Yeah, exactly.
4:45 in the
yeah.
morning, they're bothering everybody in the state with a test. Here
It's
we are.
way out there. That's not even close.
Yeah.
If you have to look
Mine-
that far, it's
Mine
not
goes
close.
off when the Mustang
I'm
comes home.
not kidding.
As soon as her car gets into the parking
Just let me
space.
know. Like the guy who was going to be stalking
Oh, look
me
who it
and
is.
murdering me
Joe
is
B came right
Joe
when
B, right when the water
the
spout
water
is-
spout is
yeah.
spouting.
Perfect timing. Yeah.
Anyway, so Bonnie has a big history there. Joe has a history there, and we had a great celebration. I mean,
Look at
we,
this.
we ordered the left side of the
Speaking
menu
of
because
celebrations, look out.
that's usually what we do.
Best French fries in town here at Gulfstream. by the way.
They're just
Yeah,
killing
yeah.
it there. I don't know how many covers they're
Joe
doing
B.
tonight.
It's happening,
But
baby.
every component of every dish, there was nothing I can complain about. It
Yeah.
was like so fantastic. Meanwhile, we're going to have Joe come in, and we're going to see if we're going to be able to maintain our perfect streak, which I tried to jinx, of 21 weeks here, Joe. And at not once so far have we had a weather event or had to move indoors for rain. So I don't know. You think we're
No,
going to be able to get
okay.
through
We're
this?
going to be all right.
I think
yeah,
it would be
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
What is that,
good.
man?
The
That
water
looks
spout went
fantastic. That
way.
stacked up thing there. What is that?
That
French
is
dip.
Mike's favorite. So I went with some of the favorites here for
we're
today.
back.
So
yes.
my favorite's the French dip. And then if I'm trying to be healthy, I'll do the chicken without the
I remember
bun.
this from week one.
week one.
This
you
was the
love
onion
that.
ring stack. That's kind
Oh,
of a
wow.
combo. Of
Wow.
Yeah, like
onion
it's like a
soup of
deconstructed
French-
onion soup, for lack of a better term. But it's
Wow.
onion rings with the melted Gruyere and Parmesan, and then the broth is poured over the top and in the base. So if you want to put more on top of the onion
That's
rings as you're
unbelievable,
consuming
man.
it. Great appetizer. And believe it or not, we borrowed that recipe, as I like to say, borrowed from a restaurant called the Food Market in Hamden, Maryland,
Nice.
where we go for when we go up there for
The
Preakness,
Okay, good.
right? So Hamden's their version of like a hipster Wynwood kind of area of Baltimore, and they have a restaurant called the Food Market, and that was one of their
It
appetizers.
looks fantastic.
Luby's
Yeah,
going to
it
take
really
some
does.
pictures
Yeah,
before
yeah.
I dig in. I know the drill by now. And when you were coming down here, and I will always love getting visits from Joe. And we missed everybody last week because the track was closed to live racing because of all the flooding, which really dinged my house too. But hopefully here you're back and
We are.
have the live racing. Everybody is doing well and recovered. And again, we've got the full weekend on tap with 10 Palms Open. We're going to have some contest winners in this Sunday.
We
too.
are. We have two contest winners coming in on Sunday. Looking forward to it. So both of them.
Nice.
And yeah, we were back in business on Saturday. Unfortunately, with Thursday, Friday, with the flooding, parking lots, and a couple of the barns that were affected, and relocated the horses to, safer ground, higher ground, obviously.
Yeah.
And we reopened on Saturday.
All good. And
It was good.
I guess now we also, besides having some contest winners in this Sunday, next Sunday, the 30th, is when we're going to have our Lunchbox Brunch Bash. And besides having several winners in, along with some of their friends, we're going to have Defo and Lubie and myself are going to show up. I guess Lubie's wife, Shirley, is going to show up. We're going to have hopefully a good chunk of the Lunchbox audience. Again, everybody's invited, and you're going to get a discounted rate of 20% off the usual for the brunch buffet at 10 Palms. You'll get the full assortment of omelets and the prime rib, the carvery, the desserts, and it's open all day starting at 11:30.
11:30 doors will open.
Yeah.
First race is usually about 12:40.
Right.
And last race on Sundays has been either 4:45 or 5:15. So it's a full day.
You could just hang out, drink, bet your lungs out, eat your stomach and tummy out, which is what I usually do. And again, if you want to get in on that, when you kind of sign up for this week's contest, just say, hey, if I don't win this week's contest, put me down for 1, 2, 3 for the discounted $40 plus tax and tip rate for next week's.
Oh, look at you, Lubie. Look at this.
Lunchbox Brunch Bash. So far, I had a couple of add-ons. A couple of people said they're in, and hopefully we'll drum up more in the next week or so. And again, we're just looking forward to it. And
What about
thanks
the
for
sandwich
everything
yet,
this
Mayo?
year.
Have you tried this yet?
I have tried the French dip before.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to have this whole thing? Is Joe going to have
no,
some?
it's all
No,
you.
no, we're good. And he's
good.
cut it up. So, yeah.
Are you going to cut it up? Or you're sharing this? This is me. This is
That's
the Mike
you.
Mayo. But I'm not doing it in one bite. But
Come on.
before you
Mayo.
got down here, I was just telling our audience that I was back into Runway 84. Now this was my third time last
Mhm.
night, and you've been a big fan of it, right?
I have.
You've gone
Yes.
with Mom. I'm just impressed because they are just killing it every night, and they're slammed every night, and yet their kitchen just turns out like great dish after great dish. And I've now eaten most of the menu, and I ate most of the menu again last night.
Yeah.
And
He actually
So-
ate the menu.
yes,
Yeah. I was teasing Fulvio because I saw on his social media and on his wife's social media, Fulvio Sardelli, and I'm like, oh, when the competition's checking you out,
Mhm.
it's got to be good.
Nice. Yeah, Sardelli's up in Hollywood, been a long time mainstay there along the beach, and Runway 84.
Lubie's doing like French service
again,
here. Have you
there's-
noticed this,
there's-
Joe? Have you seen
Yeah.
anybody like this?
Look at that. Lubie is
literally,
he's ready for
We're out of
service
season right now, or I'd hire him.
Well, he's a one-handed French service guy, which is always dangerous because that
I'm
thing
hungry. I
could end up in your lap. You got to start eating, Mike Mayo.
think I got to take one
You have been
bite,
very
and then we're going to go back to the
uncharacteristically
contest and
restrained
see
here.
if
Yeah,
Joe. This is a pretty easy one.
I think
but
Joe gets this one.
it's in tribute to our friend Norm Kent. But let me take a bite. And
Yeah, get
Defo,
involved, Mayo. Yeah,
I mean, well, let's ask Joe. Kentucky Derby Day, you said it's full up already for 10 Palms, right?
No, we're
Oh,
open.
no.
We have about 350 reservations so far, but 10 Palms can hold over 1,200 people, so we're good to go. It's gonna be a great buffet, $75 plus. Buffet will stay open until 7:00. I think the post time or 6:30.
Mhm.
I think the post time for Kentucky Derby right now is about 6:57 from what I looked at today. So it'll be a full day at the track. We have live racing that'll kick off at 12:40. Last race will probably be around 5:45, 6:00, and then of course we'll stay open for. We'll have the Kentucky Derby on the big screen
oh, nice.
out here on the apron, and we'll have it in the restaurants available.
So if somebody comes in there, the food part is going to be done, but
Right.
like they can still hang around and watch the race itself, or the windows you got to move. Around.
Honestly, for seating in the restaurant, it's always the food, $75 plus.
Right.
We always try to adhere to a minimum inside of the restaurant itself.
Right.
But outside here, down on the first floor, the bars will stay open. Concession
Right.
stands will stay open until the
Until
Kentucky
actual
Derby.
post time, because they do now try to maximize the viewing audience for prime time and all that. But
Correct.
do you have any picks yet, or you got to wait to see for the post position draw?
I mean, I gotta love Forte. I really do. I mean, it's
Who-
coming from the. I got to root for the local, so to
Yeah.
speak. And
he won the Florida Derby,
he
so
won
you
the
gotta-
Florida Derby, and I think he looks great. And I'm really hoping. I know we've had a couple of Triple Crown winners in the past 10 years. Before that had been 40 years or so. But it's always good for business when there's a good Triple Crown potential. And I think Forte is going to be one of those horses.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He looked special in winning the Florida Derby, and I'm rooting for him too. And I think if I could get anything more than 8-5 or almost 2-1, I'd be very happy. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, this French dip, luscious, very tender. You dip it in the au jus. The au jus has great flavor. I'm not going to.
That onion thing is great.
The onion thing.
What,
I
what,
loved it
what
the
do you
first
call that,
time.
Joan?
It's like an onion ring appetizer is what we
Wow.
call it. So but it's just not your typical onion
Oh.
rings. We explain it for the description
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
menu
no,
that there's
that's fantastic.
Gruyere and onion broth. You know, we've had a couple of people that didn't read the description all the way
It's
through.
onion
and
soup you can eat
we're
with a fork.
expecting a
Yeah.
stack of onion rings, but
Fantastic.
It is
Wow.
soup you can eat with a fork. That's
I mean, it's
a
great.
novel
Yeah.
idea. Very tasty.
it's one of my favorite things on the menu. And I always tell people if you get up to Baltimore for the Preakness or so, if you make it over to the food market, because they're another one of those
That
places
is
that
great.
you either get in a reservation at 5:30 or 9:30. You know, it's like Heritage up in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
You know, you
It's
get
hard.
in at 5:30 or 9:30,
Or
and that's about
runway.
it. Or runway
is
lately.
tough too.
But the food market in Hampton, they're unique. Like they'll do Philly cheesesteak bao buns. They do spins on
Yeah.
comfort
traditional
food.
dishes. Like
Yes.
they turn it into the whole kind of. Well, it's not really fusion. It's just a novel,
Yeah, it's a twist.
modern twist
It's
on
American food.
classics. Yeah.
American food with a twist.
No, well done. And again, we're going back now to at the start of when we started the Fridays here at
This
Gulfstream
is
on the
fantastic,
Lunchbox, which was back in the winter meat. Now I've been told my brother who works here, it's not called the spring meat; it's called the Royal Palm meat. Is
Correct.
that correct?
That
And
is
that
correct.
runs through, I guess, through the Triple Crown races, and then becomes the summer meat.
And-
But for now, Gulfstream is racing Thursday through Sunday every week. And 10 Palms is open every racing day. And you want to come out here for some of those big race days,
Yeah.
the Kentucky Derby. Will you be having a crab cake special for Preakness Day in Baltimore?
We will have a Kentucky Derby Day. I mean, we're even doing
for Preakness Day,
for
yeah.
Preakness, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're doing we're even doing like fish and chips on Royal Ascot Day when we have
Oh,
the Royal
nice.
Ascot Day, which I think is May 13th.
In your
So-
opinion, is the mint julep the worst drink ever conceived of?
It's funny. I was talking to my colleague at the Preakness up in Baltimore, and we were going over the recipe for the Black Eyed Susan, and we asked ourselves the same question: which is worse, the mint julep or the
black-eyed
or
Susan?
the Black
Yeah.
Eyed Susan?
I'm gonna go julep.
What's-
Almost every time.
But
yeah.
if I have to plug
What's in
something,
what's in a Black Eyed Susan?
Black Eyed Susan is 1 ounce of bourbon, 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of triple sec, then it's 2 ounces of orange juice and 2 ounces of sour mix.
That sounds like
That's the
first
f-
month at college.
Yeah,
Everything all
that's
in
the
one.
official recipe that we do not deter from or vary from. We thought about it like, oh, can we do it? I think Baltimore almost killed us when we thought about maybe, we're thinking of tweaking the recipe of the drink. That was like sacrilege.
People are
but-
very particular about their traditions
History and
customs.
traditions. No,
French dip
absolutely.
is terrific. Do you agree?
But-
Like Mayo, food critic?
I could devour that,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
bite, but out of an
And the bread's
abundance.
great. Whatever bread you're
caution.
using there is fantastic.
And in case my hopefully anybody is watching, maybe somebody I might be going out with in the next couple of weeks. I don't want to.
Did you hear about this? This show is now known as The Bachelor.
I
Where
did one of
women
those.
are like so openly seeking Mayo's company that they're inviting him out to lunches.
I put myself
yeah.
like I got asked for a charity event if I'd be willing to have lunch with somebody, like a lunch with Mike Mayo, as an
Yeah.
auction item.
Yeah.
And it could have been a man, it could have been a woman, it just could have been somebody into
The
food.
circumstances of this have come into question.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
turned out this nice, lovely lady that won the lunch with me, and it wasn't a lunch date; it was just a charity dine. But we had a very lovely lunch, and we had a good conversation, and phone numbers and texts. were
TMZ has
exchanged.
them making out in the parking lot. It's amazing.
And
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
just
If
been
Mayo is
hammering
just
me.
slightly more famous, this would be all over the ABC News tonight.
This is great. It's like
Unbelievable,
almost like the Diamond Dogs of Ted Lasso.
Yeah. I mean, racetrack food has come a long way, Joe Beja.
Thank you.
I have to say.
This is,
And I do want to do one quick plug
Yeah,
because you mentioned
yeah.
about the mint julep. If you're
Yeah.
here on Kentucky Derby Day, the Carousel Club does a frozen version of it.
Frozen milk julep.
Which
that
actually,
might be the way to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. That is
That
the
might
way
be
to
the way
do
to
a
do
mint
it, yeah.
julep.
Wait,
if I
a
want to be,
frozen mint julep.
Yeah.
Can you like gargle with it? Is it mouthwash? Is it like I don't know. That kind of
I
scares
think the
me.
freeze gives it a unique
Why
distinction.
ruin good bourbon with mint leaves and all that sugar and muddling stuff? I mean,
no, I
look,
agree.
I like a good old fashioned
I
because
agree.
the bitters makes it a little bit,
And you can smoke it, and you
Yeah.
know.
but the mint julep still confounds me. But I'm not going to stand in the way of the people of Louisville and their traditions. Our tradition here is the
Hi, yeah, run it by
Lunchbox
Joe.
contest. And again, we've explained to the people that this week's contest race is race number 8. Give a number between 1 and 10. and it's scheduled to go 5 furlongs on the turf. It's always subject to change based on weather conditions, but if your horse scratches, you'll get the post time favorite. So number from 1 through 10. And again, you'll email that to mikemayoeats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow, along with the answer to this week's restaurant trivia. And this is a restaurant that is still in existence. And again, it is a Fort Lauderdale Las Olas mainstay that's been around since 1937. Its claim to fame is it's open 24 hours. It's a good place to go to sop up a night of partying with an omelet, some grits, and toast.
What else you got there, Lou?
That was clue number 1.
Wow.
Clue number 2. And this was in tribute to our friend, the late Norm Kent. He used to host one of his radio shows, his morning show that was on WFTL, probably 20 years ago, back in the day from this restaurant. And he'd have local politicians on. And there was like a weekday morning roundtable of breakfast regulars that included the local state attorney, Mike Satz, along with the taxi mogul, Jesse Gaddis. And that was clue number 2. Do you have any inkling of what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is, we didn't want to make it too challenging. And clue number 3 is that the longtime owner of it, Butch Samp, also used to own Ernie's Barbecue in town.
Oh, yeah.
Tina's Spaghetti House, which was other kind of well-known Fort Lauderdale restaurants. And the final little piece of the puzzle is the name of this restaurant, and it was there since 1937, but Wayne Huizenga built an exclusive golf club, country club up in Palm City, Stewart area that has the same name as this restaurant. So if anybody knows.
People should get it by now, no?
Yeah.
What do you think, Joe? You got it?
I think so.
You
I
got
got
it?
it.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right, so you send that where?
there you have it. MikeMayoEats@gmail.com, the name of the restaurant, the winning horse in tomorrow's 8th race, which is going to go off at about 4:18 p.m. on tomorrow's Gulfstream card, a number between 1 and 10. And that's it. We're done. And again,
Joe B, you did it again, man.
enter the
Did it again.
contest and let us know, like, if you don't win this week's contest, are you interested? Are you going to come out and be part of the
Come on out, yeah,
Lunchbox
April
Lunch
30th.
Bash April 30th and just say, I'm in for 2 or 3. And again, $40 per person plus tax and tip. And you get your mimosa included.
I think that
all day.
includes tax and tip, right?
No, plus tax and tip.
Plus,
40 plus.
Plus,
Yes.
plus.
All right. Plus,
So, you're talking about,
Nothing,
the 50, whatever. You know,
Fifty
if you
goes
can-
one.
yeah.
yeah,
With the
50,
tax and
51.
For the
And
amount
if
of
you-
food and the amount of time you get to spend in this place.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
mean, it's the deal of
Joe doesn't have a stopwatch on every table. I mean, he's
No,
not sitting there
that's
like a
the
lot
beautiful
of people.
No,
are.
it's yours
Hey,
all
you've been
day.
here 90 minutes. You're going to finish those
Some of
appetizers, or are
these
you going to box them?
restaurants now that have the parking meters running. Oh, you got 90 minutes. You got 2 hours. No, not here. You've got a full day at the races.
You got all day, man.
enjoyment. And,
Yeah.
any thoughts on the playoffs so far? Have you gone to any? Are you going to any of the Heat or Panthers
I
games?
have not, and even though I've been down here 20 years, I'm still a diehard Knicks fan. I just haven't had anything to
All right.
root for in a
They're
long
in it.
time.
They're in it.
So they're in it. We'll see how the Knicks are doing.
Rangers are looking good.
The Rangers are looking fantastic. They look really
Panthers
strong.
looked good the other night. I'm rooting for the Panthers. I want Vinny Viola to do the
He hates them like poison.
Stanley
Yeah,
Cup.
Yeah, he does.
I
Kentucky
agree.
Derby double with
I'm-
Forte.
I'm
I don't
hoping-
hate Vinny Viola. I've never
No.
met the man. I don't like Doug Seafood, but that's another story.
I'm hoping for
another
the curse of the President's Trophy.
day. Yeah.
Oh,
we'll
there
see.
you go. Yeah,
Well,
it could
that's
happen.
it.
It could happen.
That
Yeah.
happened last year, and maybe it will
Going to be a lot of
befall
fun
the
tonight. That's
Bruins.
coming up tonight.
Yeah.
That'll be
That's,
great.
Game 3, right here at the Sunrise Hockey Arena. Panthers Bruins Game 3, pivotal Game
Yeah.
3. Oh yeah, we got to do one more break, and then we'll come back to wrap up this week of just.
You're going to
fun
be just in
and
time,
merriment.
Mike Mayo. Just in time, my friend.
Just in time. Oh
Yeah,
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 the clouds
yeah.
are. It's getting ominous here. All right, let's take a break and we'll be back. Thanks again, Joe.
That was
Always
pleasure.
a pleasure.
Always.
The French
Thank
dip.
you.
Knocked it out of the park
Marvelous.
today, man. That
Thank
was
you,
great.
everybody.
Oh, everything delicious.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
On the Lunchbox.
What a great
and
time.
What a week.
What a great time.
week it's been. A momentous week.
A lot
It
of fun.
started with Mayo in the doldrums of flood damage.
You went from depressed to in
bad
love.
cars.
Yeah, which will lead to depression.
And then I'm just, I'm living the life of merriment and mirth and eating and drinking and feasting at Runway
Yeah.
84, feasting here at Gulfstream, meeting new people, having new hope on life, still pondering the
Here's
end of
to a-
human existence on my walk of life.
Here's to not wanting to,
Over, under,
like
on.
end it right now, Mike Mayo. Very nice. Yeah, yeah. Good.
And ominous skies are coming, but we made it. Our
We gotta
streak
go,
is
yeah,
intact. We have still made it through every
Salud.
Gulfstream
L'chaim.
Lunchbox
L'chaim.
Friday,
Food
21
is
of
great.
them now,
Yeah.
without a drop of rain or a weather interruption coming.
Well,
so
you better
well,
not
we got
challenge
5
that.
minutes. All right.
Yeah,
Before we go, we love Tropical Acres.
Yes, Tropical.
Mother's Day is coming up in a little less than a month away.
Yes,
And they still have
Sounds great.
spots.
Mother's
their
Day
Sunday
is
Mother's
a
Day
perfect
party.
spot, 1 to 8 p.m. They will be open on Mother's Day, and you want to make your reservations now by calling 954-989-2500, 954-989-2500 for your Mother's Day at Tropical Acres. Better yet, go in there this weekend and just get yourself a nice sirloin, a strip, a ribeye, one of their cowboy steaks, their filet mignons, rack of lamb. You know the drill. Soon it's going to be twin lobster season at Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road. We'll see you there soon. Happy hour on the bar. We better get out of here because the
Hurry up,
heavens are
Mayo.
going to
Hurry
open.
up.
All right.
All right.
Until next week when we'll be back on Monday, this is Mike Mayo
Have a
for
great weekend,
Jeff
everybody.
Defo DeFars, Mike Lubie Lubitz saying, enjoy every French dip sandwich.
He's in love.
Jesus.